Hey, hi.
Evening, guys. We'll just start in another minute or two. Today is Friday. I wanted to start Kanban. Let's see. I'll wait for a couple of minutes, then we can start. Okay, let's start here. One second. Okay, so what we have covered so far is Scrum. Scrum is done. All the 6 events, the matrix, the why, what is it that we do in events, what are the good things, bad things, challenges. We saw the Scrum board also. How to do sprint planning, start the sprint, end the sprint, retrospectives, all those things we have done. Scrum is over. We will come back to Scrum for discussing the Jira spillovers, probably sometime next week. So now the agenda is we are going to cover Kanban. So what are we going to cover in Kanban? What is Kanban? Why do you use it? When do you use it? There are 4 principles and 6 practices in Kanban. So when you are handling a support team, you are going to be using those 4 principles and 6 practices. If they ask you, do you know Kanban? Yes, I know Kanban. When are you going to use Kanban? Whenever there is a support team, meaning that this team is not doing core development work. They are doing development, but 60 to 80% effort is in fixing the bugs or fixing the existing issues and maybe minor modifications or small enhancements or one feature here and there. But primarily they are focusing more on the fixing of the production issues. So for those kind of themes, we will use Kanban. How will we use Kanban? There are 4 principles and 6 practices. Then there are 4 or 5 metrics that you are going to be using in Kanban. So this is all Kanban. Kanban is little tricky and we will not go very deep in it, just enough to clear the interview. So because a lot of these things can get very complicated, especially these metrics. And I'm not going to get into too much depth in because that is unnecessary. We are not going to do PhD. As it is, Kanban, not a lot of people know. So if you know enough that you can talk about for 15, 20 minutes, 25, half an hour, that is more than sufficient. So once Kanban is done, then we'll go to a couple of other important topics. Then we'll get into scenario-based questions. Okay. So how do you, so I'll show you the board also, how to create a Kanban board and all. Okay. So What is Kanban? That is the question which. So Kanban is a workflow method or a method via which we take care of the support teams. It's a visual workflow method. Visual means that we use Jira board or any kind of board, but visually we see how much work is getting done. It's a workflow method which visualizes workflow. Visualizes means whatever you are doing, it is there on the Jira board or whatever tool you are using. So how much work you are doing, how much is coming, how much work is pending, how much is in progress, what's bugs are in testing, what bugs are in code review, what bugs are in done status. Whatever you are doing, we have to see it on a board. So that is your visual workflow or visualize work. So in Kanban, we visualize work, and then the other important part of Kanban is that we put a limit to the work that you can do. So there is a WIP. WIP is the most important component in Kanban. What is that? We'll discuss in detail. So work in progress is what we will limit in Kanban, because we assume that if people have 10 things in their bucket, they will not be able to concentrate in and complete it. Rather than doing 10 things, multitasking is good, but too much multitasking is counterproductive or it is harmful. Because I think we should do investment in mutual fund. SIP or maybe gold is a good option. Now you are all confused because suddenly I have switched the contest. I am talking about investments now rather than Kanban. This is exactly what happens when you have too many things. You are concentrating on one thing, then suddenly you go to another ping or call where you are discussing another bug, then another bug, then another enhancement. Your mind takes time to adjust to a new task. That is called context switching. So if you have too many things on your plate, then you have to switch the context, and that wastes time. So rather than working on 10 items, you are going to concentrate on 2, 3, 4 items so that you can close those items, because it is no good that so Kiran is showing 10 items in his kitty. Very good. Kiran is working on 10 tickets. The illusion of working is brilliant, that he is working on too many things, and I have seen it with lot of teams. They will say they are working on too many things, they have too much work, but ultimately things are not getting done. Kiran has 10 things to do. One thing is completed 25%, another thing 30%, another thing 5%, another thing 50%. If I ask Kiran, any bug which is ready to be moved to production, Kiran will say, no, but I am working on that item that I did this. Another item, I found out the logic. Another item, I analyzed. But the client is still screaming at my head, boss, where is the bug which is going to be delivered? Delivery is not happening because team has too many things. Everybody has 8 tickets, 10 tickets, 15 tickets. There is too much work in progress. The problem with too much work in progress is that people are not able to concentrate on few items and close them. So it gives you the illusion that a lot of work is happening, but at the end, the work is not getting completed and team cries for delivery. Which is why in Kanban, we suggest that rather than working on too many items, we will put a limit to work in progress. So only 3 things or 2 things or 4 things. Typically, we will start off with 2. It could end up with 3. So no more than 3 tickets should be assigned to Kiran if he's coding it. Similarly, Sudipta is testing it. There should not be more than 3 bugs which she should be testing it. Because if she is able to concentrate on 3 items, she would be able to finish it a lot quicker. If she has 10 things to test, then that burden or pressure of testing too much is going to not make her very uncomfortable and she is not going to deliver. How this works in real time, we'll see, and whether it is actually helpful or not, that also you guys can tell me. But so Kanban, somebody asks you what is Kanban? Kanban is a method of working. We use Kanban to help support teams deliver bugs at a faster pace. Bugs or enhancements or whatever support tickets they are doing. And there are no sprints in Kanban. It is a continuous flow. Tickets keep on coming. Sometimes you get 5 tickets, some days you get 10 tickets, some days you get 20 tickets, some days you get 2 tickets. There is an uneven but a constant flow of tickets. Wherever you see a team, that team has every day tickets are coming. See, in Scrum, we can limit what we have to do in for 10 days. But if there is a team which has every third day, every fifth day, there is too many critical items coming. You can't use Scrum for those teams. You have to use Kanban there. In Kanban, there is a continuous flow of tickets. When there is a continuous flow, but uneven flow, sometimes you get 2 tickets, sometimes nothing, sometimes 20, sometimes 5. This is what happens to production support teams. Sometimes customers will raise a lot of questions, issues. Sometimes there will be a lull. So in those cases, we use Kanban. How do we use it? We create a Jira board for it, which is, we say, there is a visual flow to it, or visualization of work is there. Visualization of work is a fancy word to saying that we create a Jira board for it. Is this very clear to you? So Kanban is a workflow method which is primarily used for support teams. It is a method where we visualize work, which is nothing but we create a Jira board for Kanban. Then we introduce WIP, work in progress limit. Then we manage flow. Third thing is visualize work, WIP. Third is manage flow. How do you manage flow? Manage flow is, let me show you with an example. Let's create a board and then see it with an example. I think I already have a board, so I'll show that and I'll create. What did I? Okay, you guys are able to see this board, right? How to create it and all, we'll talk about it. Wait, let me create one so that you have a better idea. Create a project. Okay. So I don't see the Kanban option here. So I go to software development. There I will see the Kanban board. So this board is different. So I'm going to use this template. And again, I'm going to select a team managed. Let us call it prod support. Whatever name you can select. So this is the board, very simple board. But now, so and the first thing is that the first practice is that you start with whatever you have. You don't change anything. It means that, so let us say you join a backend team. Backend team is where somebody is a QA manager, somebody is a tech lead, you don't change roles. Okay. And you ask, boss, how is the work flowing to you? So they say, work keeps on coming. In that case, uh, if work keeps on coming, let's call this backlog.
Sir, just a minute. Can everybody please mute? There is so many noise. Background issue.
Yes, sir. Too much disturbance.
Yeah.
This is what I am. Okay. Are we good?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Actually, I'm very allergic to noise. So my childhood was, I was born and brought up in Himalayas. So um, I lived in a city where the population those days was 5,000-6,000. When we used to see a car, we used to tell everybody, "Oh, I have seen a car." Those were the days, and I've lived that life. So I'm very this thing to noise, but now I can adjust. Okay, so backlog is the first thing. Then let's go to. So people say, so in this team, let us say this is a production support for our Grab It app. So whenever a customer raises any ticket, it just comes to this queue. So whenever, so let us say just issue one, whatever. Let us say, okay, this is not, it was not allowing me to create a bug. One sec. Okay, fine. I'm not going to edit it now. I'm just going to assume this is a bug. Okay, assume this is a bug here. That's all. Otherwise, I have to configure it. Let me call it bug. But why is it not allowing? If I create a, why is it not allowing? Okay, now it should allow. What is this? No. It comes here, but it does not give me the option. I have to create the workflow. Let show me. Yeah, it does. Good. Okay, so some issues, some errors, some bugs like that. So every time a ticket is opened, so we created our food delivery application. So let us assume that we have 10, 15 features we have done. It is a live app now, and people are using it. And people are raising concerns, bugs are coming. So all of these, as soon as somebody calls in, or so like we do with Swiggy, right? We call them, we chat with them. There are multiple methods through which a ticket can come to you. So all these tickets keep on pouring in. Sometimes there are 2 tickets, sometimes 10, sometimes 20, whatever. Now, the next step could be analysis. Whatever ticket we have to pick up based on priority, we have to analyze it. Then after that, in depth. Then in testing. I'll change it though. I'm creating a very basic flow now. Okay. After analysis, so let us say we pick up this ticket. And okay, I have to create one more. Let me call it. So this is, so you go to a team, you ask them, boss, what are your different stages which your issue or your bug gets through. So they say, first we analyze it. If after analysis we find that this is a valid issue or a valid bug, then we start coding. Okay. Then once the code is completed, the code fix is done, then we put it to a code review. Then once the code review is done, we put it to testing. Once the testing is done, we put it to review or we mark it as done. Something like that is our code review. So for each stage of work, you will create one status on this board. This is the first step of how you are going to run a Kanban team. You will ask them, boss, what is your flow? So either you can create this or you can take help from a Jira admin, or there would be an agile coach. So somebody would be there, but start with a very basic flow. Don't complicate it too much. It should not be, there are 20 statuses here, that gets too complicated. It should not be more than 6 to 8. Otherwise, this board becomes very cluttered. Okay. So now backlog is your ticket keeps coming. They keep on coming. But how many? So based on the priority again is set by the product owner. In this case, there is nobody called a product owner. But there might be somebody who will be the in charge of taking this decision. It could be a development manager, it could be a delivery manager, it could be, the roles could be different, but there has to be one or two guys who know whether the what is the priority of these things. So obviously the critical or the high priority items we take up first, medium later, and low later. So let us assume this was a critical issue. So from this, so let us say we take up everything because we, let me show 5, 6. Let us say we take up everything. Now analysis is done, everything is valid. I'm just assuming maybe something is not valid, and then you reject that piece of issue. Maybe whatever issue is raised, it's not a valid issue, you can invalidate that. That also can happen. Now I'm going to, everything is in. So I have 2 developers or 3 developers, 1 tester, and this team is working, everything is in dev. Now suddenly what happens? After a few days, see, more tickets are coming. So here's the situation. Situation is, so these only out of these three, we have three devs and I have one QA. I'm just assuming it. Now, three devs and one QA. And so out of those devs, only one guy is doing the code review. So obviously he cannot do all the code reviews at one go. Correct? So these things are piling up. So maybe he's done one. This is in testing. Then these guys, again, analysis. Then again, these tickets are moving here. Okay. Then out of this, the next day, so let us say this is the situation on Tuesday. On Wednesday morning, more issues come. More issues come. So out of this issue, okay, another important issue came, two more important issues. Now, this is a typical situation. Let us say this is Wednesday or any day of the week. And now, typically how it happens is every Friday or every Saturday morning, whatever issues or bugs are ready, you are going to push it to production. So typically Kanban teams follow a weekly release cycle. Or that is one way, or they on demand. Whenever a bug is fixed, whenever a critical bug is fixed, they will deploy it into production. That also is a possibility. But let us assume this is a weekly cycle. Every Saturday morning, whatever is ready by Friday night, whatever is in done state, they are going to push it to production. Now, this is, you are the Scrum Master of this team, and you see too many items in. So the testing is fine. So Dipta is testing, she is testing just one ticket, fine, she moves it to done state. But the problem is developers are doing fine, testers are doing fine, but still only one ticket is getting done. The problem is there is a queue build up in the code review. So this is what we analyze in the Kanban workflow, where in which status is my bottleneck. So you use, there are three concepts, lead time, cycle time, and CFD, to find where is the buildup happening. But we'll come to that later. But just by looking at this, you will know, oh, which status is, oh, there are 4 tickets here, 4 tickets here. Why are 4 tickets here? This is fine. There are 3 developers. They are working on 4 tickets. This is fine. But who's doing code review? Oh, code review only one person is doing. And that's my bottleneck. So what do I do in this situation? If one person is doing, then he cannot handle more than 2 code reviews. Can one person in one day handle 6 code reviews? No, that's not possible. He will be able to handle only 2 code reviews if one person is doing it. So I have two choices. Either I say everybody does code review, all the 3 developers, or I say out of 3, the senior most does a code review, but he can only do 2 code reviews. So I put a limit here. I go on the 3 dots and put a set column limit to 2. So this is how you put a WIP, work in progress limit. So now this shows me in a red, max 2, but you have put 4. I cannot put 4 here. So in this case, I say the guy who's doing the code review, you don't take up any more tickets here. Put it in a block state for a day or two. You do one thing, you do complete your code reviews. Okay, he does his code reviews, he doesn't do it, and he moves it to testing. Now this is fine now, but still he has 2 code reviews. He is doing it. Now the other developer, one of the other developer finishes his bugs. He wants it to push to the code review. A red alert, I cannot. So he moves it back. So this way, there is no pile up here. And if things are piling up here, that means my code review is a problem. One person is not enough for my code reviews. Then I say, boss, you do the training and then make sure these guys are also up to the mark and they can also do the code review. Otherwise, so, or this guy can just he can just put he can only take up one ticket and then he can concentrate on his code reviews. So this is how you implement whips in the real life. Even for dev, so in dev, so now this guy is doing code review. At the most, he can handle 2 code reviews. This is Kiran. Kiran can handle 2 code reviews. But the general rule of the thumb in the industry is that you can handle 3 tickets. It could be 2, it could be 3. It can never be 5 or 6. 5 or 6 is too much. So you first try with 3 and see if it is working. If it is not working, then we can change around it. So this guy who's actually doing 2 code reviews, you say you have 1 more ticket you can handle. That is fine. 3. The other 2 guys also, we say they can also handle 3 and 3, 6 tickets. So 6 plus 1, 7. So I put a limit here. And this is just a basic thing. In real time, you can do all sorts of permutation combinations, but let's not get into. So I have 3 developers. So one guy is already doing code reviews. So he will, at any given point of time, he will have 2 tickets. So he cannot be assigned more than 2 here. And then he can handle 1 more ticket here. So now I have left 2 developers and they can handle 3 plus 3, 6 tickets. So 6 plus 7 at any given point of time. In this, I could only have 7 tickets maximum. If I have it more here, then what is the point? So in places where there is no WIP limit, you will see that code review, you will have 8 tickets in code review and the tester will be roaming freely. Suddenly these code reviews would get over, then suddenly tester will be bombarded. The work is not flowing evenly or nicely. There are bottlenecks. This is just like traffic. If there are too many cars on the road, you are going to put some traffic lights so that you manage the flow of the traffic. So this is managing the flow by putting limits to WIP. This is the bottom line in Kanban. So now let us say these code reviews are happening. Now this guy is able to do it nicely. So then this thing gets completed. This thing gets here. More tickets are coming in. Let us say this is issue 15. Let us say this is 17, whatever. Now suddenly code reviews are fine. He's doing it. This guy is moving here. This guy picks up this thing. This guy, can I put? No, I cannot put. This is the one I put, no. But see, this flow is fine now because this guy has only 2 reviews to handle. In the morning, 1 hour, he can do it. In the evening, 1 hour, he can do it. And in the middle, he can work on his one dev task. So he's sorted. But after 2-3 days, it looks like Sudipta, who is the alone QA, she's having too many tickets now. Sudipta is testing this. She can test, again, she can test 1 or 2 items, right? At max 3 items. If there are 5 items, she will be overwhelmed and tickets will not be moving. Again, now here is your build-up in this column. Instead of this column, now the build-up is here. I'll take the questions. Give me a couple of more minutes. So the build-up is here. So then we say, let us put the limit. Either you increase the QAs, but at the moment only one QA is there. So you Put 3. You ask Sudipta, Sudipta says, yes, I can handle 3 tickets. Anything more than that, it is too much for me. Delivery is screaming at me. Why are so many tickets in testing? What is happening? Nothing. She has too many tickets. So you put a limit here. So now either you can put it in block or you can put it back. No, wait. Let me ask you a question. Now, this is the case. You have too many tickets in testing. In dev, this is fine. In code review, this is fine. You have too many tickets in testing. What are your options as a Scrum Master now? You are using Kanban. You have identified that delivery is screaming, only 1 ticket is done. Our capacity is that we have promised the client that, boss, every Saturday morning, minimum, we have 3 developers and 1 QA. We should be able to give you at least 5 tickets every Saturday. Every 1 week, we will be able to deliver you minimum 5 tickets because we have that bandwidth. A QA can easily test 5 tickets, isn't it? So Deepta can easily test 1 issue every day. What is the big deal? And these testers can easily fix, even if it is a complex issue, they can easily take 2 days, even if they take. So easily they will be able to fix 4 or 5 items, 6 items. So based on that, we don't know our data now. We are just starting out. But we say based on our judgment and gut feel, we can easily, but after 1 week, we are only going to deliver 1. Because initially there was a build-up in dev, then we put a limit here. Then there was a build-up here, then we put a limit here. So things started moving. But now suddenly in testing, there are too many things in testing. So Dipta, okay, we say, okay, out of these things, so Dipta, you test any 3. But what about the rest of the 2? So what are the options that you have now? How will you resolve this issue in real time? What can you do? You understood the scenario, right? Scenario is now I'm stuck. I only have 1 completed item. The bandwidth is there. I can easily do it. But testing is stuck now. What to do? Yes, Sudipta.
Sir, can we ask the dev for a unit testing? Then it will be easier.
Not unit testing, actually basic testing, whatever you are doing. Unit testing they are already doing, but just by unit testing, we cannot put the bug into production. So there are 2 options which we have. Either we get another QA on a shared basis or a loan, or we ask Sudipta that, Sudipta, can you train our devs into some sort of basic QA training so that they can run these tests and find out if there are issues or not. So those are our 2 options. So in good organizations, good agile organizations, or let me say India, there is too much ego. From top to bottom, there is too much ego. From the guy who's joining the organization to the guy who's top in CEO. Everybody has huge ego. So developers will say, hey, why should I do the testing? I am not hired to do testing. I am a developer. Okay, boss, fine. In that case, you are not an agile team. So typically, in my experience, when I worked with I'm not being this thing, but I'm just telling you from my experience, and it could be my experience was bad and people are adaptable. But at least in my experience, I haven't seen a lot of adaptation. So, but for few teams where I worked with American and Mexican, I mean, non-Asian, I would say, then they are able to adapt to the needs of the organizations. But there have been exceptions in my experience too. Some of the Indian teams also have adapted. But that culture needs to be there. If that culture is not there, then it is very difficult to do this. In those cases, then you can, but nowadays things are changing. People are changing. So you can, So this sort of coaching you have to do to the management also, that you cannot have developers saying that they will only develop and they will not test. In this case, if they start testing, at least they can move these bugs. So let us assume that they are not going to test.
So won't it be conflict of interest?
No, there is no conflict. Ideally, in an agile team, uh, you have to do everything from UI to backend to testing. A person should be able to adapt to any skill. That is the way you can do a faster delivery. If the flexibility is not there, then the fast delivery mode will not work.
So a developer who has developed or changed the code, so we will not give his code for testing, right?
See, you are going to completely trust that guy. See, that is the first thing, that you completely trust the guy. That is why you are saying you pick whatever you think you can complete. Right? So there is no, of course, with any approach, there will always be drawbacks. So it is not like this is a perfect method of working. Of course, if there is a segregation between QA and developers, there are benefits also. It is not like this is bad. No, no. There are huge advantages also there with specialization. But we are talking about the delivery mode. The fast delivery mode is not possible. So if people are adaptable, you can say, okay, can you test this? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just for 2-3 days. So they should have the training and the will to do it. It is not like every day of your life you are going to be doing it. Now there is a queue build up. We ask the developers say, we'll help. Sudipta has already trained them, or that training has happened. Assume that training has happened, then it is possible. Now assume the training has not happened, then of course we'll put these things in blocked, but we'll put it in a blocked state. Let me put it in a, let me make it one. What did I do? No, no, no. What did I do? Okay, so this is, okay. So let us assume for one sec that this was, we can't find anybody else to do it. So in those cases, we'll put this things to blocked state based on the priority. So we say we will only, so Dipta will only test 3 items, and these are the 3 items based on the priority. The other 2 lower priority items will put it in a blocked state. Had the developers been trained, so maybe developers are not trained now. This is something which we will take up in next week. In that week, maybe if that happens again and there are too many items here, then maybe we can, you say no, but at least one out of the 3 developers, at least one developer says, okay, I am ready to help out the testers in that case. But again, that is not your specialist QA. He is a new guy, so he will not be able to handle 3 tickets. He'll be just able to handle 1 more. So we can put the limit to 4. And then let us say this guy, we assign this guy to, but again, the total limit is 3 only to that guy. So in this case, we will move this to 6. Because remember, this developer now, he can have 1 testing item, but 2 development items. So the code reviewer guy, the guy who is doing code review can handle 1 ticket. The guy who is doing test, who is helping Sudipta with testing, can do 2 tickets instead of 3. So 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 3. The one other developer can do all 3. So this is 6. So if you add 1 here, then you add 6 here. All of these things, what am I doing? I am just adjusting my whip and managing my flow. This is how you run a Kanban day. I mean, this is on a very basic level. You do it little more. And how do you do that in real time? Pretty much same. You start off with, because you will be new, but those guys will also be new. If those guys are not new, they are used to it. Very few people are actually using Kanban in the real sense of the word, and a lot of teams struggle. I've seen enough people, they know only Scrum, they will forcibly use Scrum in the production support teams also. But in production support teams, the important point is flow. Now, Sudipta is able to do. She's not worried. She's able to complete it. Fine. This guy also helps. See, the flow is now. There is no build up. Suddenly, you can easily visually see in some status, if there is too much build up, that's your problem. And then you can set a limit so that the flow. Why you want to monitor this flow is because if there are too many things in testing, and the point is that it's not, the important point is that you should use your bandwidth to complete items and not just put things in progress for the sake of being in progress. So it would give you the illusion that a lot of work is happening, but ultimately things are not moving through. The main bottom line is this. This is what you called throughput. Throughput is the number of tickets done in a particular duration. So let us say the duration I am monitoring this is, I have a weekly cycle of delivery. So every week I am monitoring how many tickets is the team getting through. So how many tickets are in a complete or a done status after every week. This is my throughput. My throughput is important. So let us say if I had not put this limit here, my throughput was only 1. Even though testers were still testing, developers were still developing, code reviews were happening, everything, people were doing work. You cannot question people. Developers were doing it, QAs were doing it, everything was doing, but the flow was not managed. So ultimately, instead of 3 tickets, only 1 ticket was getting done. Now it is 3. Then in the next week, again, we will see this and optimized it. So in few weeks, you will see, you will hit a optimized flow where the maximum tickets, whatever is possible, will be going through, because you don't want any build up at any particular stage. You want things to move as quickly as possible to the done state. So at least in this case, you are able to tell the client that at least 3 critical items were delivered instead of only 1, which was the case before applying these WIP limit to these statuses. Is this clear to all of you? Now you can ask questions here one by one. Who wants to? Okay, Abhilasha ma'am, you go first.
So my question is, here we are applying the limit on team members or for that state? I mean, in
Both.
testing,
Both. Both. Both.
but it like depends if there is kind of some UI issues only. So that may be, I mean, within a day they can finish 4 tickets or 5.
So it could be either. You could apply this limit to the status, or in conjunction you can apply it to the people also. Because see, if I have 6 items on my plate, then I will not be able to handle it. It could be I have 2 items in testing, 2 items in code review, 2 items in in-dev. In that case also, I will not be able to handle it. But again, you can check with the team. So for example, I have put it 6, assuming that everybody can handle 3. So maybe there is a senior developer, he can handle 5 items. So I will correspondingly change this limit. Whatever team is comfortable with.
But
And
it is
that,
not
huh?
sorry. It is not mandatory to apply limit. I mean, there is an
It is not
option.
mandatory to apply limits, but Kanban is based on this philosophy that you apply WIP. If there is too much buildup, because if there is too much buildup here and things are not moving to done, it's like, see, too many cars are coming in. They are stuck at a point. Nobody is going to its destination. So you will put traffic lights so that the traffic flows.
Sorry.
Basically, if everything is getting into testing, then the traffic is not flowing, right? It is not moving to done. And as a Scrum Master, your role is to make sure that things are getting in a state of done. And how do you identify what is your bottleneck? You look at these board and you will see if there are too many things in one status. That's your problem.
Yeah, and one more thing, like how this Kanban can be linked to Scrum.
That
Is
that
you will do okay.
that.
And
One
in Kanban also we have kind of daily stand-up things, or it
We'll,
depends.
we'll get there. We'll get
Okay,
there.
okay.
Don't worry. Don't worry. This is I am only explaining WIP now. That's it. Other things I'll explain.
Sir, in Kanban, we generally use an IT support system kind of a thing. Just right, sir?
These are all support tickets, right?
Where at the tickets are escalation, how many tickets are escalated, kind of a thing, no?
Is ServiceNow also used for this kind of ticketing system?
Yes.
Yes, service now we can use this.
Yes. Yes. Correct. Yes, PC sir.
Yeah, sir. Okay. So share resource, okay, it's not available. Training is not available, but the task is very essential, important, and we have to deliver. Okay. So is there other way to handle this kind
No.
of situation? Block is okay. We block
Yeah,
it.
the word you have to learn is no, no. No, it is not possible. Hey, let us say you have 2 developers and there are 7 critical bugs, and these people can only handle 3 or 4. Correct? Now you are not giving any shared resource, right? You are not giving any shared resource, and your testers cannot be converted into developers. Developers can be converted into testers, but testers cannot be converted into developers. That limitation is also there. Correct? So instead of saying bluntly no, that so capacity is we can only handle 4 critical bugs. So if there are 8, then those 4 have to wait, or you have to prioritize which is more critical and which is less critical. If you say all 8 are critical, then but your capacity is only 4. That's it. So you do not, so instead of saying no in corporate circle, we say we don't have the bandwidth to handle it. Now the toxic management will say make them work more. Okay. Even after working more, your capacity is 5, maybe 6. Still 2 will be pending. But if you can push people for a brief period of time, if you push it too much, then they will compromise on unit testing. They will compromise on the code quality. Ultimately, you will get escalations. Some people understand it, some people don't understand it. People who don't understand it end up doing very average work, lot of escalations, compromising on quality, delivery timelines, toxic environment. I don't have to tell you. I'm sure in my experience, I have worked with those managements and companies. You would have done it. People are delusional. They are not ready to believe that there is something called capacity. If you go beyond capacity, no, motivate people. What is motivation? They're already working for 12, 13 hours here. We have already included an extra Saturday. So now they want more Saturdays, more Sundays. It keeps happening. Ultimately, if the quality is not an issue, if average work is accepted, then go ahead and do it.
Okay, and one more question is that how old this actually Kanban? We can, I mean, give some 10 years experience in this Kanban.
Yeah. You say you've started doing it. How many experience? How much experience you are showing? 5, right? As
Actually,
SM,
yeah,
5 or 6.
yeah, in
Say
Scrum actually 7 years,
7 years. No. As an SM, how much are you showing?
7 years.
7.
It's too
What is your
much.
total work ex?
It's 15 years plus.
15 years. 7 you are showing. Start with 6 only. Yeah. Then move to 7. They will ask you all sorts of questions. Okay. So start with the 5.5, 6, and then build it up. Yeah. You can say from 2021 you've been using Kanban. No worries.
Okay, and one more question is there constraint of team? Because in as you in our this thing Scrum, there are 9 people or 10 people, right? So
Ah.
in
No, there is no
Kanban,
support teams are little bigger.
okay,
They are little bigger. You can say it is a 15, 20 member team.
okay, okay. Thank you.
Yep. Yes, Sudipta, I'm sorry. You had your hand raised for a very long time now.
Sir, my question is for this production support thing, like it can happen in a product-based company also, like who are building the product and at the back end they are getting some issues in
So what
production.
happens is initially when the product starts, there is a core development team. So once the product reaches a stage where it has clients, so initially, for initial clients, the development team also is going to support at least for first 1 or 2 implementations. Then they will form a support team. So as the product grows and it has the user base increases, then you can have more and more support teams, depending on how many issues they are getting, how many customers are. So let us say I have a product which has 3 customers. So for each customer, there could be a separate support team. If I have 50 customers, then I mean 50 as in if you have B2B customers, as in you have some company who is your customer. If it is a retail, then retail is different. So if it
Yes.
is B2C is different, but B2B model, if you have 50 organizations using your software or 100, then you could club it based on some region, but there could be some sort of strategy to it.
And like B2B or B2C, like all the customers, accordingly, we have to create the Kanban boards. Like
Ha.
we're clustering them, then
Yes.
different,
So
different countries.
ideally, one board will be for one customer.
One
If you
customer.
have one board for multiple customers, then it's going to be hodgepodge. But you can still use labels to identify it.
Ah.
But it's going to be very tedious to handle it.
And sir, one Scrum Master only looks into the Scrum team also, this Kanban team also, like that he works,
It
or like
depends on how conjuice your organization is. You understand, right? So ideally, I have
If
handled.
you
I have handled. I started with 2 teams, then 3, 4. At one point, I was handling 6 or 7 teams also. And then I told them, boss, you at least give me a appraisal or a band change, yeah. Put me at least. I will still continue to do it. At least call me an agile coach now. So that is how they called me with some other name. And then, of course, I went on to do non-delivery things, got into other. But if you're, see, I'll give you a very simple logic. The reward of good work is more work. There's a very famous saying, the reward of good work is more work. So if you are an average Scrum Master, you will get only 1 or 2 teams. If you become good, you can get 1 more. If you become very good, you can give 1 more. So the reward of good work is more work. This is how the world works. People who are good at, see, if I'm a very good doctor, I will handle 100 customers, then 150, then 200, then 250. The reward of good work is more work. Then I don't know why people say work hard. Why? You'll get more stress. I'm just kidding. But you get my point. So if you are, if you do good, they will obviously want you to handle more and more teams. If you are good at delivery, they will want you to handle more and more teams.
So we see a few tickets. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah.
We see a few tickets in production support which are just for doing the analysis.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
No, there will be few tickets in support which
Ah,
actually
ah.
needs only analysis. And
So,
then
for
after that,
example, say, let us say issue 11. We did an analysis. We found out that this is an enhancement which we are not going to fix for now. So, somebody will put in a comment that, okay, this needs a story to be created, and that story will be taken up based on the priority. So, this issue came. Maybe they wanted some new feature. They wanted food delivery app. They want the items to also show how many calories it has, and based on the calorie it needs to tell me how much exercise should I do if I'm ordering this pizza, something like that feature. So PO will say, okay, dev will say, oh, this feature is not there currently in my code. So he will assign it to PO will say, okay, I will create a new story for this, and we'll close this ticket. Will not, because this is not a code change, it's a new enhancement, and this will be closed like that, and that story will be taken up based on the priority or some other things. Or you, either this team can do it if it is a minor modification, or they may pass this story to
product.
the product team.
Yeah. So we don't usually put WIP on analysis.
No,
WIP on
you do.
analysis.
No, you do. See, I have not put it here, but typically you would have, see if there are, it could be like 15 items are in analysis only. Then that's a problem, right? There is a limit to each and every status, yeah. There is no limit. I have not put it now because I was explaining these things, but yeah, you will put a limit to analysis also. You will put a limit to everything, if required. That is, if things don't keep piling up in analysis, then it is fine. But if it keeps piling up, so let me put it here also. So there are 3 people, maybe I'll put 4 here, and then I'll readjust to 4 here too. Something like this looks.
But the backlog we will not control because we cannot
A
control.
backlog, no. Backlog tickets can come. I mean,
Yeah.
customers can raise as many tickets as they want here. That we, but how many tickets we can handle, there is a limit to that.
This is just to see where the ticket is, right? But what the issue is, that on all will not track here. What the issue is, what is team doing? Do we put any details? Okay.
No, no. These details will be put by the customer. So customer will put, okay, this is the issue, and then the developers will write whatever code change is required, whatever analysis is done. They will put their comments. Okay. Again, so the point is WIP. I just wanted you to explain how WIP works in real-time basis. That was the whole point. Then I'll come to the other. Is this clear to all of you? How do
Yeah.
you create a Kanban board? This is a Kanban board and you put limits to it. That's all. So in the interview, if you can explain this much, you're already better than 90% of the candidates. You know how the WIP limit works. Okay. Yeah, Venkatesh.
Sir,
Priorities.
sir, one out of the box question, sir. Sorry. Sir, actually, what will happen in the leadership interview, actually?
What will happen in the
Leadership interview. After the technical interview, what then?
okay, we'll come to that.
Uh,
We'll come to that. Don't worry. That will be your background. What is your attitude? what sort of body language you are exhibiting. Are you the right fit for that organization? What is your location? What is your base location? Are you the right fit for that team which they are looking at? What about your package? All those kind of things.
Okay. Will technical questions also be asked in that?
No, very rarely. If the guy is technical, then he may. But if the guy is not, mostly they will not be. They will not know agile. Mm, those will be your Buddha guys. Then Buddha ko nahi pata hoga agile. They will just. I mean, in saying this, I am also not very young. So, with all due respects, but those people will not know a lot of agile things. So, but you never know. Some people may know. Okay, so now let's come back. Today is Friday, I can spend. Again, coming back to Kanban. So Kanban, now you know the practicality, but what you have to tell them is, so there is 6 steps that you have to, 6 steps that you have to do in order to work with a Kanban team. What is the first step? Visualize the workflow, which you already know. Correct? Where are you guys? Visualize the workflow, which you already know. Second, apply WIP. That also you know. Third, manage flow. That concept you also know. Where the bottle, you identify which statuses or which stage of the ticket the ticket is not moving. In how many, so let us say code review, we found out the tickets are in code review from last 3, 4, 5 days. Then we understood, oh, there is a lot of pile up here. And then we applied that limit. So visualize board, WIP, manage flow. Then fourth step, make policies explicit. So you have to tell all these 6 practices. These are 6 core practices and 4 principles. So I am on the 4th practice now. That is make policies explicit. And by the way, these are all in your PPT. Okay. So what is make policies explicit? For example, when I'm moving the ticket from analysis to in development, there should be clear-cut policies when I can put my ticket from analysis to in dev. Is there a code change? Yes. Have we identified the issue? Yes. Then if these 2 conditions are met, then put it in dev. From in dev to code review, there should be, again, DOD. When do you, so this is basically DOD. So from in code review to in testing, when can we say the code review is done and we can push it to testing? There should be clear rules. Rule number 1, code should be reviewed. It should be deployed to the testing area environment. There should be a documentation done. And the issue should be resolved, or whatever you want to put it. If these rules are met, then we can move the ticket to the next segment. If these policies or these rules are not clear cut, then you will find we are assigning tickets to Sudipta. Sudipta saying, oh, this bug is not even deployed in my SIT. Why did you deploy? Or why did you assign it to me? Kiran says, oh, I had deployed it, but some merge request did not fail. And there would be a confusion for next 1 day or 2 days. And there will be a delay in the delivery. And this happens very typically in all the teams. Tell me, does it not happen? Happen. सर वो मैं कर रहा था, सर वो ये हो गया, सर ये हो गया. अच्छा यार, ठीक. So there should be clear, absolutely clear rules when you can assign these tickets to the next. So this is what you mean by make policies explicit. It means share the rules of how the work flows. So when will your bug be assigned to in analysis, in code review? When will be the QA accepting things? So it removes ambiguity. Then now we come to the fifth. Fifth point is implementation of feedback loops. This is nothing but your events. So although there is no prescription of any events in Kanban, but you will still have a minimum 3 sorts of events. One will be your daily connect. You want to call it daily stand up, daily connect, whatever you want to call it. It is your choice. There is no word which is prescribed in Kanban, but you can call it daily stand up because everybody is used to that. So there will be a daily stand up where you will connect with the team, facilitate how many tickets in code review, how many tickets in which status, is there any blocked tickets? If yes, why are they blocked? Same process, same things. So that is first. Then there could be a weekly review. In weekly review, you will assess, you will discuss your metrics, your throughput, cycle time, lead time. What are those? We'll probably discuss next time, not today. So you will discuss your metrics, then you will reassess whether everything, those limits are, WIP limits are fine. Do you need an adjustment? Is there a problem with any tool? That sort of kind of a retro, but we call it a weekly connect or a review meeting. We don't call it a retrospective, we call it a weekly review meeting.
In the weekly review meet only, sir, we will see if there is any problem or not, and also the throughput cycle, that both together.
Daily, there is a daily stand-up or a
Yes.
daily connect, where same like DSU, you are doing the daily stand-up. What are the blockers? What are the dependencies? Same thing. Then instead of a retro, which happens after every 2 weeks, instead of waiting for 2 weeks, you are doing a weekly review. It could be every Friday, every Monday, every Wednesday, whenever you want. After 5th day or 6th day, you are meeting. So basically, if you are in a weekly cycle, point is, when are you deploying your bugs into production? Are you typically, you would deploy it in every 3rd day or every 5th day or every weekend, something like this. So if you are in a weekly cycle, then say that you were doing it every Tuesday or every Monday, whenever you want to call it. If you are doing it, so typically it will never be 2 or 3 weeks. It will be, but there could be as and whenever a bug is ready, you are pushing it to production. In those cases also, you can have a weekly review. In weekly review, you assess in that particular week, how many tickets have you done? From Monday to Friday, those 5 days, how many tickets moved to, from the status of whatever it was status, it moved to done. So you will run a Jira, find out how many tickets got closed in the last 5 days. That's your throughput. And then you will assess your flow. How you will assess your flow? Looking at a CFD diagram. How do you look at that? That we'll discuss. So events, so they will ask, Kanban, do you know? Yes, I know Kanban. What do you do Kanban? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then events, I do a daily connect, then I do a weekly connect, and then there are your monthly reviews, which we call service delivery review, SDRs. SDRs is where you are going to get into more details on the metrics, whether the customer is satisfied, people are satisfied, the processes are fine, is there a change we have to make, all those kinds of things we will monthly review. Monthly review will be much larger in scope than your weekly review. So you will, whatever your weekly reviews are, you will club that, okay, in the last 4 weeks, these are my throughputs, this is my CFD, this is my delivery, what will we change anything? So all those kind of discussions can happen in the how many escalations we got, how many accolades we got, all those kind of things. Monthly, you could invite a couple of people from the leadership also in that meeting if you want. So Kanban, first thing we do is we visualize the workflow. What are the different stages of bug or issue or support ticket which the team will get into? You will discuss it with them and put it on the board. So let us say you join a backend API team. You ask them, boss, how does the work come? They say, okay, it keeps on pairing, sometimes 2, 10, 15, sometimes nothing. Okay, the backlog keeps filling. So how do you take up work? you take it up on the priority, some development manager or delivery manager, or priority is set by the operations team or whatever. So then then you get into the backlog to analysis to in-dev to code review to in testing, whatever they tell you, what are the significant stages of that particular whatever team thinks. So you can put it on board. So that is your visualization. Then you put WIP based on whatever team is comfortable with. Anything from 2 to 4 tickets per head and in each status. Then then you manage the flow. Whatever is your bottleneck, you try to solve that bottleneck. Lot of tickets are getting in code review, lot of tickets are getting in whichever status, then you sit with the team and sort that out. Then number 4 is your, what was number 4? DOD, those policies. When do you move one ticket from one status to another status? So this transitioning, we call it transitioning of the status. There should be clear rules so that the confusion is avoided and the time is not wasted. Then you implement feedback loops. Feedback loops is, again, you sit with the team, analyze how it goes, and based on the analysis, you adapt your plans, you adjust your WIP limits and other things. So that the feedback loop is your daily stand-up, or you call it daily connect, weekly connect, you can call it anyway, weekly review and monthly review. Basically 3 times the team will meet and discuss among themselves the alignment, the business goals, the deliveries, all those things. And this weekly review is also your backlog meeting also, in the sense, let us say I have a team of 7 developers and 4 testers. I have a team of 7 developers and 4 testers. So let us say in the last 2-3 weeks, I have seen typically every week we are deploying 12 tickets, sometimes 11, sometimes 14, sometimes 17. On an average, we are deploying 12 tickets. So 12 becomes my capacity. So then how many tickets we can promise on a given Monday? 12. So we will fill so from backlog to analysis state, we will push our 12 stories, or rather pull our 12 stories or 12 tickets. In the weekly review meeting itself, or there could be a separate meeting. You could have a weekly review meeting, and then you could have a backlog filling event or meeting on 2 different days also. But typically the team would meet on Monday. What happened in the last week? Okay, these things happened. They will quickly say 5-10 minutes. And then you will say, okay, every Monday they will say, see, every Monday or every Wednesday, whenever they are saying. So typically every Monday, they will say, okay, how many tickets? They will say, okay, there are 15, 17 tickets. Okay, our limit is 12. So let us pick up those tickets. And so they will pick those 12 tickets. So this is a pull method. So Kanban is a pull-based method. Pull-based method is based on your capacity, you are pulling work. Nobody is pushing the work. No, you do these 20 tickets. That push method is not there. It's a pull method. Pull means this is our capacity and you are pulling that into your analysis stage. So you put all these tickets now, 12 tickets. And then of course, like in Scrum, if there is anything urgent which comes on Wednesday, they say, no, you have to do this. This is too critical. Okay, then we'll push one into a block state and do this critical bug. So let us say a new issue comes, they say this is highly critical, then we will do that swapping like we used to do it in Scrum. But the limit still remains. If the limits are not respected, then neither the delivery nor the people, neither the delivery people will be happy, because people will have no control of what they are doing. They'll be exhausted, burned out, and utter chaos. And then of course the team will suffer, the delivery will also suffer. And you would have seen in your real-time experiences also, lot of teams struggle without a proper process in place. And educating them on process is, we don't have roads in this country, you know, right? Who do you tell this in this country? Boss, there is no development. There are no bloody roads. Where are the roads? Where do I drive my car? Okay, you buy Mercedes. I can buy a Mercedes, but where will I drive that bloody car? So, anyways, that's a separate discussion. Okay, so you understood, right? So the last is, so feedback loop is there. Then last and very important, evolve, improve collaboratively, evolve experimentally. So all of the team is together. Again, there is no hierarchy. Everybody is together and you evolve one by one. Again, Kaizen technique, same thing. So you don't do drastic changes. You identify, okay, code review is an issue. You put a limit to code review first. Then you see which is the next bottleneck. Then you try to resolve that and say, okay, let us put a limit to the code review for a week and see if it helps. Let's do that experiment. And if that experiment works, we will continue. If that experiment does not work, we will try something else. So basically, you are guiding the team. You are not an enforcer. You are a creator. You are helping the team. Okay, boss, looks like there are too many things in code review. So can we try to put a limit to it and see how it goes? And if it doesn't work, doesn't work. Same with testing. Can we try to see whether developers can help in testing, see if that makes the flow faster? If you say, no, you have to do this. What is this attitude? You are egoistic. No, that doesn't work. You have to explain them. The idea is to push more and more tickets into done. Rather, so let us say after 1 week of review, rather I had 15 tickets to take care of. Out of those 15 tickets, my done tickets are only 2. My in progress tickets are 13. One case A. Case B is my in progress tickets are 7, but done tickets are 5. I would rather have more done tickets and less in progress tickets than rather than pushing too many tickets in progress. So that is why you experiment with the WIP limits. Because idea is how many things are you delivering at the end of that week? That is the bottom line. Not how many tickets you are working. You could work on 100 tickets, doesn't matter. But the client, people are waiting. It's like Airtel. I call Airtel, boss, my internet is not working. All of us call Airtel and all 12 of us call and say, boss, my internet is not working. Now they have a limit to how much they can handle. Suppose they can only handle 5 customers. At the end, they have taken all our issues and they are only able to fix Sudipta's internet. But rest of the people are all dissatisfied. Rather than taking up everything, they could have said, okay, boss, we will fix 5 internet connections now. Rest of the customers, they could have told, okay, we will fix it after these many days and we will give you a discount of 30% because we are taking too much time. Fine. That's a transparent approach and a better approach. If you are trying to fix everything now and you end up only fixing one customer, then you end up dissatisfying everybody. So this is how this business works. Eventually you will get into the business side of things if you do well in. So that is why this is a beautiful occupation, getting into Scrum and Agile, because you get to work with the business side of the things also. Okay, so
Sir, one thing.
give me one more minute. So these are the 6 things you will do. So do you know Kanban? Yes, I know Kanban. How will you run a Kanban team? Create a Kanban board, implement WIP, manage flow, do those meetings, those 3 kinds of meetings, and improve or evolve one thing at a time. Experiment with things one thing at a time. See if it is working. If it is not working, experiment with another thing, but one at a time. So these are the 6 ways you will run your team. So these are the 6 core practices that we do in Kanban. So what is the first practice that everybody remembers? First is
Visualize.
Visualization, creating the board.
tell me louder, yeah.
Visualize,
Visualize,
visualize.
Visualize
Visualize
the
workflow.
which is nothing but creating your
Board.
Kanban,
Jira.
Board.
Jira board or Kanban. Second is
Whip.
implementing
Whip.
apply,
Whip.
apply.
With work in progress limit.
with limit. Third is
Flow.
Manage the
Manage
flow.
flow.
Manage flow.
Flow process.
manage flow is you identify where the bottlenecks are and then adjust your whips. Then fourth,
Make
Make
policies.
policies.
Make
make
policies
policies
explicit.
explicit. Makes rules very clear. When are you going to move ticket from one status to another status? Then fifth,
Implementation.
Feedback.
Implement feedback loop.
Groups.
feedback loops. How many feedback loops?
Weekly and monthly.
Weekly, monthly.
Daily, weekly, and
Daily,
Monthly.
monthly.
it could be different to different teams, but I'm just giving you a generic example which is most popular. Then last,
Evolve.
Evolve.
evolve
We
means
evolve.
Collaboration.
improve
One thing is
collaboratively, evolve experimentally, as in do experiments one at a time. For example, QA cycle is too long. QAs are taking too much time to test. So dev starts writing some of these test cases to help them and see whether this practice helps them. So dev, instead of QA doing the regression, devs can also write smoke test cases. Dev can also write regression or smoke test cases. And after their bug fix is done, they can also experiment with this smoke test cases and see if that bug code is breaking anything else. And that will help the QA only. So let's experiment with this. See if it helps us. If it helps us, we will use it. If it does not help us, we will try something else. So that is an example of this last. So I've given you examples of each practice. I've explained you practically how to run this board. So now after this, we will talk about principles on Monday. Then we'll talk about metrics, and then that'll be, you can easily tell 15, 20, 25 minutes of Kanban. And we'll also discuss difference between Kanban and Scrum. So you are already an expert in Scrum. Now you will become an expert in Kanban. And then at the end, you will become a, not expert, but you will know enough of SAFe to answer questions. So SAFe, Kanban, and Scrum, Kanban, and SAFe. So you will be covered. Okay. And after we, couple of other topics I have to clear, and then we'll get into our scenario based questions. Those will be your second round questions, different scenarios. Now that you know the basics, you will be able to answer. Don't worry. These scenarios keep repeating. So I'll cover at least 20 to 30 scenarios. I think maybe more than that. 20-30 scenarios are more than enough for you to give the answers. Okay. Yeah. Sudipta, now you can.
Yeah, sir, I have two questions actually. First is in the fourth rule we have like make rules, like make policies that are explicit. So you give an example, like make rules like suppose when to move the tickets.
Correct.
Okay. So when to move the tickets, we can say like as we were discussing, like 2 tickets a person can handle. That is, we are creating the whip. That means only we are creating a rule,
No,
right?
that also, but see, the code review is done. As a developer, when do I move my ticket from code review to in testing?
Okay. Oh, that is also included here. Not
That
only-
is the main thing that we have to see. The other thing you said is in the WIP limits in point 2.
Okay. Okay. We
Point 4 is what are the rules of moving a ticket? It's not like I can move any ticket to any status. If the ticket is in code review, what are the rules that I have to follow before moving the ticket to ready for testing or in testing? Ideally, should not be in testing. It should be ready for testing. As a developer, you can mark the bug or an issue to ready for testing. When do I mark? code review is completed, their design change is done, it is working, issue is replicated, documentation done, whatever it depends on the nature of the product, whatever you want to say.
Okay. And the second thing is improve things one thing at a time, like the Kaizen method. So I want to know, like weekly we are having one meeting, right? What
So
we
in
did.
this, the example I gave, that it looks like the client is not very happy with the way QA is testing.
Okay.
We asked Sudipta, why are you not doing this? Sudipta says, boss, I am the only QA tester here. I have too much to do. How can you help me? We go to the management, they say, no, we are not giving you any more resources. You handle. So you say, okay, boss, what we will do, instead of QA doing the regression, let us have devs writing the regression or smoke test cases, so that if they do it, it will be less issues for QAs to check. So the quality of the code will be better. And see, because a lot of production, we send our bugs, fixed bugs to production, a lot of them are coming back. They're saying you have not fixed it. It looks like the regression testing, it is breaking something else also. So to avoid that, we ask our developers to fix it. So that is one experiment. And don't worry, if you are not aware of all these intricacies, you don't have to worry. Just remember one or two examples. When you start working with the team, you ask them, boss, this is the issue. What are your suggestions? They themselves will give suggestions. So whatever sounds most logical, pick that suggestion.
Okay. So that this change we will do weekly only or in the monthly meeting?
It depends.
It depends.
It depends. Typically, you will avoid doing too frequent changes. So you could, the change in WIP limit or introducing some new thing, it could be done on a monthly basis.
Monthly. Okay.
If the team is comfortable, then bi-weekly also, whatever the team is comfortable with.
Okay.
This is why it's tough to being a agile practitioner, because you are giving the confidence to the people and asking them and helping them rather than being the enforcer. Hey, you do this. That is what we call agile policing. It doesn't work. You tell your kids, idiots, you study. They will never study. As against this, you tell them, what do you want to be? My daughter says, I want to be an AI scientist. Okay, very good. But do you know how much you have to study and what do you have to do? You give me a roadmap. So she tells, okay, this is my roadmap. I need to be very good at physics. I need to be very good at mathematics and all those things she needs to be good at. So how are you going to be good at mathematics? What is your plan? So then this is my plan. So I ask her every 20 days, are you going fine with your plan or not? So this is a better way. I mean, she could fail and end up not doing this, but this gives a better opportunity or better probability of succeeding. If I tell PC sir, you're bad at development, Sudipta, you're bad at QA, why are you guys not doing it? This is bad. I will fire you. Rather than doing all this nonsense, I could help you with data. I could help you with information and see whether you are evolving and growing. So this is the mindset change we talk in Agile. Trust people to make the right decisions, to do the right things. इंटरव्यू में तो बोल ही देना यार, एक्चुअली में क्या करोगे, तो we all know how it happens. If the organization allows you, then you could do a lot of things, but there is too much politics here, and it's everywhere. Don't think it is not there in the West, it is there also. Everywhere politics is there. I mean, Trump is not an Indian, right? Imagine Trump being in India. Oh man, anyways. Okay, Deepak sir, why are you serious? No, don't get serious. This is clear, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So Kanban is a great advantage that you guys will have if you are able to explain Kanban well. Not a lot of people will be able to explain Kanban nicely. So this is a big advantage you will have in the interview. Safe also, you'll be able to do well. Okay, any other questions? So 6 practices is what you need to know for today. The rest of the things we'll worry on Monday. All good?
Yeah. Sir, in our office we have Scrum and the Kanban also, like for the production issues. So they pull testers from the Scrum team, like morning and night time they will fix. So it's a very hodgepodge kind of thing.
Shared resources.
Yeah.
So the
Every time is
product
in a
teams.
hurry. Like just now we needed to test it like that.
So
They
the
will say,
product QAs are going to be pulled into the support team.
yes.
So
They
there
don't
could
have
be a
support
lot
queue.
of queue build up there. So, but you can give, see, ultimately you can give ideas, but ultimately it is for the organization to use these ideas or not. But if you give these ideas see, that is why I tell in the first session itself, I am not a revolutionary. I can help you in clearing the interview. But if you want to change the entire culture of a organization, that's a bigger ask, please, yeah. That is too much. But you can say all these things in the interview and clear the interview. But to actually implement these things in real time, a very different ask. Okay.
Even
We are
in
not.
big organizations also, it's not happening,
Huh?
actually. Even in big organizations also, it's not happening.
Oh, no. It's
Yeah,
too much.
whatever you're learning in Scrum, like 10% is also not happening. My Scrum Master just asks the updates and goes away.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
Like
And
I
whatever
just
you
talked
can do,
about
whatever.
charts here, like we never discuss charts and never discuss charts.
Ask him. He would not be available.
Most of the time, they will ask for numbers only, just numbers. Just tell the numbers how much percentage got completed, like
Yes.
that.
And when can
And
you close
timing, especially for Kanban, they're asking for time. If from dev team it moves to testing, and the testing team is in other location, means they are simply asking that why the ticket is with testing for so many hours, or like that. Even
Which
though
had
they know that the testing team is only fixed in other location also. They won't look into that service no ticket, that at what time it has came, how much timing it has taken. For that also again,
that's your cycle time and lead time concepts. We'll see.
yeah.
I mean, conceptually, but not all organizations are bad. Sometimes you can end up being in decent organizations also. People are good at the top, but there is nobody to implement these things. That also I have seen. Very few people are aware of these concepts so that they can implement these. God knows, maybe some of you will implement these things. So
we'll try.
yes. Okay. So I think we had a very long session today, but this was Friday. It's fine. Okay. Let's wind up and see each other on Monday. Again, those 6 practices are enough. If you can tell about them for 5 to 10 minutes, that's enough. Everything else was just a bonus if you end up being in a very difficult interview. But for most interviews, if you can speak 10 minutes on Kanban, that's enough.
So 6 practices with the examples, like as you have said for Scrum. Okay.
Okay. Okay, then, yeah. Have a nice weekend. Take care. See you on Monday, guys. Bye.
Sir, one thing. I have shared my resume with you.
Oh man, we had to do it today, na? We'll do it
Yeah.
on Monday. Okay,
Okay.
we'll do it. We'll wind up everything on 10 p.m. and then we'll do this.
सर मैं भी भेजा है आपको प्लीज
Sure.
Sir, I will send on Monday.
Sure.
I'm yet to prepare and send it.
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay, take care, guys.
Happy